Hi, friends. This is February the 26th, 2025, and my wife has a birthday on Saturday. What should I get her? Any ideas? We're talking about money. Money. We're talking about money today. By the way, I'm getting a haircut. I got enough money. I got enough money from my stock market account to be able to get a haircut Friday. I may be you may want to call me Slick Jimmy. Slick Jimmy after Friday. Well, we're going to talk about being broke, going bankrupt, and regaining everything I lost. That's the most nice way I can say it. When I was young, I was buying a new Thunderbird every year in my 20s. I'm 76 now, in case you wondered. Okay, buying Thunderbirds. And it got to the point where I couldn't make the payments, and they kept piling the interest from the last car and what I owed from the last car to the new Thunderbird. And pretty soon I was not able to pay utility bills and other rent bills, so I went bankrupt. Well, I worked myself up to top rating as far as took a few years to get a top credit rating. And I'll tell you this, Liberty National Bank, I'll never forget going bankrupt on them. And when I went to apply for a loan for my business, they said, "Well, sure, you've got the highest rating you can get." And then I get a phone call. He says, "Come on in and talk to me. Come in and talk to me." This banker, come in and talk to me, he says. It's not my policy, but it's Liberty National Bank's policy that if anyone ever went broke on them, bankrupt, they will not issue another loan. That includes Thornton's oil company. That was Thornton's was a big oil company. I'm talking about gas stations in Louisville, and they had gone bankrupt on Liberty National, and they had become a multi-million-dollar organization, and they went in to borrow money, take out a loan to start up a couple more stores, and they said, "I'm sorry, I can't get you a loan because you went bankrupt on us." Well, Liberty National's turned to a different bank name. I think it's PNC now, PNC, which is one of the probably top 20 in the country. But uh, I'm not recommending them. I'm just there's something they're not in my town now. Okay, so here I am, bankrupt. How did I get the highest score? I what I did was I got these cards that you can put cash in, credit cards, and then use that cash just like a credit card. And I built somehow, mysterious to me, I paid off enough of these credit cards that I prepaid. Let's say I put 500 in it. I would use 400 of it. Get another credit card. Use use whatever I could out of it, and it kept raising the credit rating. And before I knew it, and I had no idea that my credit rating was going up, because they said you could never get a credit card for 7 years. That's what they said then. Once you go bankrupt, you don't even apply for credit for 7 years. Well, this was way before that. That we're talking about 3 or 4 years after I went bankrupt. Okay, now I'm saying all this not to brag, of course, but to tell you the struggle. The struggle was that I was trying to go to college at the same time, and I was borrowing money from the credit card. I did get regular credit cards after a while with fairly high, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 limits, because I paid them fast. This is how I got through going through graduate school, and when I had college and graduate school. College was psychology and sociology majors, and graduate school was had 2 masters, but the one I ended up using was in clinical psychology, and I became a psychologist and worked till I retired, either as that or I had 3 other licenses: marriage and family therapy, clinical social work, school psychology, and licensed addiction counselor. So I was on all the networks of insurance companies. So that's the referral base. They would refer to me because the degrees I had, the licenses I had, fit who they were trying to refer people to. And actually, I had no retirement plan. I worked for a company or two. It just didn't work out. I wasn't going to be pressured. I wasn't going to be pressured. I don't want to say that bullied, but I would have to get up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and go to the hospital and see people that were substance abusers and needed to be sent to a detox, or they were mentally ill and needed to be sent to a psych hospital. And it was could have destroyed the marriage, because I would get called at 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning on a snowy day, and wouldn't come back because sometimes there'd be other people coming in I needed to see in the same hospital, King's Daughters Hospital in Madison, Indiana. It's now a Norton's King's Daughters Hospital, and they took it over. You could say they merged. I'd say they took it over because so many things have changed. And anyhow, I resigned, and I decided to go independent from then on. So for 30, 35 years, I worked by myself. I paid for everything from leasing to, of course, all my licenses, all my license insurance. All this stuff was paid for when I worked for other companies. I was no salary. I mean, no retirement coming in, of course, because I was working for myself. So I just made up a IRA, individual retirement account, and just threw a few dollars here and there when I could. And that was my retirement. So when I say that I retired without a retirement account, I did have that going for me. I put in money as I could. You could only put in so much money based on your income per year. And if you work enough years and you throw enough money in, you start thinking, how can I increase this? So I decided to become um, uh, familiar with the stock market and to buy good stocks. And that was the answer to mine, because companies I had never worked for is not going to pay me anything. The companies I did work for was so short of a time, I wasn't going to get a pension. So the money that I saved was my savings. My retirement was my savings. Now, switching to the savings and putting it into the stock market caused a passive income. And when I say passive income, I mean it's working while I'm working. It's working, hopefully, if you got a stock like Apple Computers, it's making a lot of money while you're working. And when you get enough of a stock like Apple, it's making more than you're making per day. I can't tell you how many stocks I bought that went bankrupt, including the bank. IRWIN, IRWIN, National Bank in Columbus, Indiana, went bankrupt on me for thousands of dollars. Yeah, I had earned thousands of dollars and put it in that one stock, and it went bankrupt. And then blockchain, that became such a big thing. So I bought a whole lot of stock, thousands. And when I say thousands, I'm not saying 10,000. I might be saying 2,000 or 3,000. And blockchain, that was supposed to be tremendous. Well, it went bad. The last bad investment I will tell you about was electric vehicles and electric battery companies that would service those electric vehicles. That was like a 80% drop before I sold it. And one other thing, forgot this one. Marijuana stocks became big. And I bought every marijuana stock in Canada and wherever, I guess US was growing them too, if they had a permit to do it. And as you know, Colorado and other states, it's legal. Other states, it's legal for medical reasons. We're talking about marijuana now. But here's what happened. This is why I lost 80% of my money buying marijuana stocks. It's because it became such a big promotional deal that the country was going to go all marijuana and recreational marijuana, not just medical, but it didn't. It was state by state. Nevada, California, I think Nevada, but I do know Colorado and California did. And others went medical marijuana only. So I lost about 80% of my money on marijuana stocks, 80% of my money on electric car vehicle companies, not Tesla. I never bought Tesla, but the other ones. And Tesla was too high for me to buy. The battery companies were popping up over the place where you could just go in and they had fast speed and slow speed. So if you went into a Cracker Barrel, you could go slow speed to be cheaper. If you went fast speed, like at just a regular gas station that had the capability of charging your battery, you would pay more. No, you probably didn't know all about that, did you? You had to pay for the electricity, and that was based upon the speed you wanted it. Okay, and then what happens? 2008, 2009, all my stocks plummeted. That was a great recession. What do you think about stocks plummeting at 55%, maybe 60? Some our Florrie told you some went to zero, like National Bank. There are a few others. I've got two right now I'm holding on the chart on my statement. It's a reminder that anything I buy could be a chance to lose. So I have a blockchain, I have a global gambling stock. There's zero on my statement for stocks. Okay, it's a reminder. My wife says, "Why don't you take them off?" It's because I want a reminder that all my selections are not going to win. 2008 and 9, things tumbled, as you know. If you've been around then, it tumbled. Many people sold out and never went back into the market. Well, what happened was I was heavily in debt, and I sold right before the crash. Really, what I had left did go down, but most of it I sold at the top to pay off my counseling center bills that was slowly fading because of people not coming, lack of income, things like that. So here we go. I have some money left. It's fallen down. The rest of it I sold at the top and was able to pay off all of what I owed for the counseling center before I closed it. Now, the normal person was selling out when the stock market fell 50%, 60%, for some, depending on what stocks they were in or what mutual funds they were in. They could have lost more than 60 to 65%. I started borrowing money and putting money into any stock that was below $1. This is something I learned from John Templeton, who had the Templeton mutual funds. He became famous because he borrowed money from his employer and bought any stock that was below $1 that was on a New York Stock Exchange. I said, if it works for him, let's see if it works for me. So I borrowed money anywhere I could. And I would go down every stock I recognized that was on the stock market that was 33 cents, 50 cents, but less than $1. With one exception, I bought Harley Davidson, I think at $3. Harley Davidson motorcycles at $3. But other than that, Ford was about $1. I think I bought it. I got rid of it, and it's not. I won't say anything about it. It's not a stock I would keep, that I did keep. Even though it did go up to $10 and higher. So that's the story of my going from bankruptcy to where I am now, which is comfortable, but I'm certainly not what you would call super rich or even rich. I wouldn't call myself wealthy. I do not call myself wealthy. Somebody say you're wealthy. I say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. The stock market could crash just like this. That's what my money's in. But I'm a believer it keeps going up. I hope this has helped you. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to put a like if you want to. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. I do different things. I wasn't going to do one tonight. I was tired, very tired. I had made phone calls to elderly people that I do, and I thought, what do I have worth offering? And I thought, well, Apple fell $6 or $7 today a share. I bought 3 more at that price. But another day, it'll go up $12. But let me say that 90% of the money I've made, close to 90%, has been in Apple stock. That's not a recommendation. It's just a fact. Let me tell you why. It's a community. You go into McDonald's or a school lunchroom or anywhere, and people sitting there looking at their phones. You go over to them and you say, "What you got there? Is that an Apple? Is that an iPhone?" Yeah, I get one every year, the newest one. Yeah. So what if you don't have the money for it? I talked my dad into getting it for me. I said, "You got anything else from Apple?" "Yeah, I got Apple Watch." "Can I see it?" "Yeah." "Wow, that's great." Got anything else from Apple?" "I got an iPad. I can do everything on the bed, like a computer." I say, do you have anything else from Apple?" "Yeah, I got a laptop at home." I say, "You're fixed up. You've got it together, lady. You've got it together." And then I go to the next person and hear about the same thing. And the next person, and they say the same thing. And I realize there's a community that will only buy Apple. The community is not only nationwide, but you hear them fighting over tariffs for Apple computers in other countries and all this. They're selling in other countries. That's why I'm able to leave this with you today. It's not because I'm recommending Apple. I'm saying it. My philosophy when I was buying stocks was to buy 7, not 50 or 40 or 30. Buy no more than 7 and watch them carefully. But also realize there's always 1, 2, or 3 out there that are racing to win. And I told you what worked for me. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you will. And thanks for listening.